It's just best to sit back, relax, and enjoy the moment.
This is the Nissan Fairlady Z, and no, it's not a hybrid. What it is though is a manifestation of pure driving pleasure. This is the kind of ride you want to be in when you're out on the open roads and traveling just to enjoy the moment. With a ride like this, you're not just looking to enjoy your destination, but also to have fun on the trip getting there.
But what if you have bad roads? Now, let's be real for a second. Not every road is as smooth as something like, let's say, the Clark International Speedway. And it's not every day as well where you take a sports car like this out on the racetrack. I mean, if you can do it every day, good for you. But in reality, kind of tricky to make that happen. But anyways though, how does one enjoy the ride quality of a sports car like this?
Well, the Nissan Fairlady Z has been equipped with a double wishbone aluminum alloy suspension with an aluminum alloy subframe and a rear multi-link aluminum alloy and steel suspension with a steel subframe for your chassis.
What happens with a suspension setup like this is that you end up with something with more like a Grand Tour effect. And that also happens because part of this car is also made from aluminum, making it feel light and nimble. Goes well with the ride quality, and this car properly hugs the corners. It hugs the corners comfortably, so it feels very engaging for a nice and long drive. Now, if you want something that has a firmer suspension or more horsepower, I suggest that you get the Nismo package. Now, if you want something that can handle a flood or like let's say carry more things like 900 kilos, maybe you should get a Nissan Navara instead.
Payload capacity isn't something you really talk about when it comes to sports cars. You get a ride like this to enjoy what a good drive is all about. But for the sake of practicality, let's talk about this ride's boot space.
Open your rear cargo door and this is what it looks like in the back of the Fairlady Z. Now you'll notice that this is still a very practical sports car. You have space for a cooler, a box, and a backpack, and still space to fit other things here. Now because of the sloping roofline effect, yes, you have a little bit more headroom for cargo, and no, you cannot fit a person here, but you have a big glass here in the back here, which adds more natural light if you're stuck in traffic. You gotta be careful about these little details though, these little pillars on the left and on the right side, because those quarter panels could affect visibility if you're stuck in traffic. But the upside of Nissan Intelligent Mobility is that it solves those problems with all of the sensors that it has. More about that later on. Now, the only thing with the rear cargo that you have to be careful about is, of course, where you position things, because again, it is a sloping roofline, and how you close your door. Because if you don't close it properly, you could cause a crack right here. And with the hood closed, this is what the Fairlady Z looks like from the back. Now, LED lights, yes. Dual exhaust, yes. There is a diffuser down below as well. Now, with this ride, when you look at it far away at face value, it really looks like the Datsuns of the past. Very loyal, very similar to the design language of Nissan there. So that's a pretty nice touch. A nod to heritage while sticking to modern times. Now, back to the dual exhaust systems. I wonder what that sounds like. Sounds pretty neat, huh? Now let's talk about the side.
There is a reason why the Z won so many awards among the media, and you'll notice it from the side profile of this ride. The sloping roofline matches the black and yellow color scheme that you have here.
Now you've got 19-inch raised forged alloy wheels here to go with your disc brakes for the front and the back with the red calipers. Now with this ride, I find this particular detail fascinating. You have a sloping roofline here in the top, and you also have a short rear overhanger in the back. If you're a veteran driver, you're gonna like that little detail there. Why? Because without the use of your backup cameras or backup sensors, backing up will not be a concern here. Now, at stock, this car has 126 millimeters of ground clearance, so that means that you have a very forgiving ground clearance for speed humps and overly steep ramps when you have this car at stock.
The front of the Nissan Fairlady Z also has a look from Datsuns of the past, but there are parts here where you can really see how old meets new.
Along with a lighter body, you also have LED lights here to go with a large grille, which gives cooling to your engine, especially at high speeds. And with the sloping roofline, aerodynamics will not be a concern with the Fairlady Z. Now, this ride also has something called launch control and a limited slip differential. Makes you wonder, what's that like? 3, 2, 1. Oh boy, this thing is crazy! No wonder why they call this thing the Nissan Fairlady Z. This ride can move! I'm having so much fun. And you know the thing is, as much as this car can move in the straights, in the corners it's got a limited slip differential, so this car is ready to have so much fun! Oh man, oh man. Now, Okay, allow me to gather my thoughts a little bit here, but if you're thinking about fuel economy for a ride like this, maybe this shouldn't be the car for you, okay? But okay, to answer your question, if you're gonna compare this to the Nissan GTR, it is a little bit more fuel efficient here versus the GTR. After all, this is a lighter car with a 9-speed automatic transmission as opposed to the 6-speed automatic transmission. And you know, at highway speeds, when you're cruising at highway speeds, this car gives you the best conditions possible. But when you put this thing on the track, put it on sport mode and activate your paddle shifters, and you know that this car is ready for anything and everything that you throw at it. I am at a loss for words about how much fun I'm having with this car. And there's so much to be said about how much fun you can have with this car. Any more fun you would have with this thing, and you might end up with a few phone calls that, that you might not like. But with the Nissan Fairlady Z though, it really begs the question. Yeah, they were staring at me. But with the Nissan Fairlady Z though, it really begs the question, how can you not have fun in a car like this? Under the hood of the Nissan Fairlady Z, what you have is a 3-liter V6 engine which is set to give you 383 horsepower and 475 Newton meters of torque, all mated to either a 9-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. Now, this particular variant here is the 9-speed automatic, and the way I see it, I like it. Why? Because it's daily drivable. It doesn't gear hunt at low speeds, and on the top end, when you're traveling at high speeds, along with the paddle shifters and the transmission, it gives you the best amount of engagement, along with your drive modes. From a mechanic's point of view, you'll like how everything is easily accessible here, and everything's reinforced for high-speed performance. And with this ride, no matter how you have it, whether you drive it slow or whether you drive it fast, a lot of people have been saying that this car is very comfortable. You know why? It's about what's going on inside this car. Now hey, if you want to be a passenger princess, be my guest. This car has so much space considering the fact that this is a 2-seater. Look, I got all this knee room here and I got all this headroom considering the fact that, again, there's only seats for 2 here. Now, as a passenger for the Fairlady Z, not a lot of people talk about this by the way, you'll like the bolstering that you have for your bucket seats, both the driver and the passenger. It's power adjustable and the switches are right here in the middle. Now you don't just have one cup holder here, you actually have 2 cup holders here, and the seats have heating functions. Now if your driver scares you, don't worry. Nissan has this thing called Nissan Intelligent Mobility, which is a whole slew of safety features which give you things like forward collision warning, adaptive cruise control, high beam assist, emergency braking with pedestrian detection, and many more, so that you feel safe wherever you go with this ride. Now, if your passenger scares you, don't worry, you still have a pretty nice interior for you to enjoy as the driver of this car. After all, you buy this car to drive it. Now, in a visibility point of view, you'll like how the dashboard sits properly. It gives you the right amount of height, so driving this around in traffic shouldn't be a concern in terms of the visibility category. Now, with your dashboard, you have 3 gauges here in the middle, which all work, and they all have 3 separate functions. Your leftmost is your boost gauge, the one in the middle is for your turbo, and the one on the right side is for your battery. All of them properly work. Alongside with that, you have your digital driver display here, which is very much customizable for all of your needs and preferences as the driver. You'll like the steering wheel with all of the buttons that you do have, all complementary to your center screen and your driver display, and your paddle shifters are metallic. Gives it a nice and sporty touch for a nice and engaging drive. Now, for this particular car, you have a 9-speed automatic, but you could also get the 6-speed manual. But regardless of which transmission you get, you do have a handbrake here, which is pretty nostalgic, right? Especially for those turns. And the other is you have 2 adjustable drive modes here, so driving this car around at high or at low speeds should be comfy. And last thing, the traction control button is right here on the left side. If you're brave enough, you can turn it off. I didn't. Why do people like cars? Heck, let's move that question a bit. Why does one work hard and aspire to have cars like this? Well, it's because of the options. The options to be able to experience things that may or may not be common to everyone. That applies for both cars and for things outside cars. Now, with the Nissan Fairlady Z, you have plenty of options. You have options to enjoy it as is on stock. But if you are to customize, hey, no problem. This is a car that you could comfortably enjoy on a nice and long drive. And this is also a car that you could enjoy on the racetrack. If you want more performance, again, I suggest that you get the Nismo edition. But with this ride the way it is, it's perfect. You know what? This here is the kind of car that you get yourself after knowing that all of those months and years of hard work has finally paid off. Hey, If once upon a time you used to dream about the 350Z from Need for Speed Underground 2, or the Datsun 280 or 300Z from back in the 70s or 80s, and those were your dream cars back then, having this right now really feels like your dreams did come true. And if that's you, congratulations. But you know what? This is the kind of car that makes you realize that you want to be behind the wheel of this ride when you're winning in life. Just remember that when you're winning in life, win the right way and win responsibly. Unless you wouldn't want to be caught between a dance to remember or a dance to forget.